What's going on, everybody? It's my first show of 2024, and the Falcons ended in a most disastrous way possible. They lost 48-17 to end the season. This was a back. The first half was surprisingly good. Desmond Ridder had a great first half, and then they got on schedule with the second half. He turned the ball over. The defense fell apart. It was a disaster. So they lost by 31 to end the season. And let's go ahead and call a spade for a spade. I told y'all in August, if Arthur Smith goes anything worse than 9-8, he was going to be fired. We went 7-10 for the third straight year. For the third straight year, the Atlanta Falcons went 7-10. If Arthur brings that man back, because he's saying we need a quarterback, you're not going to see me at a lot of Falcon games next season. You're seeing this from a season ticket holder. That man is fired. There's no way that man should survive what has taken place with this team. No way. The Falcons should be making that decision before the night is over. If not, Black Monday. Either way, Arthur Smith is fired. Arthur Smith has had by far the worst tenure of all the coaches that we've had in the recent time. I'll be 33 on Thursday. I grew up the Dan Reeves Dirty Bird era, went to a Super Bowl, as I mentioned in the previous show. Jim Moore took him to the NFC Championship game. Petrino quit. We know why. We knew that situation. Mike Smith had a successful tenure. Dan Quinn went to a Super Bowl, went to another postseason appearance. This man has went 7-10 3 consecutive years. The first year, you had an old Matt Ryan. You were trying to figure this thing out, and that was your first year. You were sort of in not a full rebuild, but you were trying to get the team right. Second year, the team was totally broke. So you thought that you could see some progression. The division was bad, but this year, all the money you put into the team, all the moves that you made, picking up some of the solid pieces you picked up, you now have several offensive weapons on your team. At this point, the Falcons gave you are 3 seasons in, you got the pieces that you needed. And you go 7-10 again. 7-10 again. Think about who all we lost to. Think about the losses we have this season. We lost to everybody in the division. We lost to the Commanders, who's firing Ron Rivera tomorrow. We lost to the Titans, who's 6-11. We lost to who else? We lost to Jacksonville and Detroit. Those 2 losses I'm not going to be too mad about. You lost to the Minnesota Vikings, who had Josh Dobbs step in and don't even know the players' names on the roster. You got a loss to the Arizona Cardinals. And what else can you do to say this? Now, it's not all on Arthur Smith. Desmond Ridder was also arguably the worst quarterback in Falcon history, but it's all tied together. They came out in April saying that Desmond Ridder was going to be the starter. There was no competition, and this is what you got. Desmond Ridder happened to be one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever watched in a Falcons uniform, and trust me, we've had some bad ones. He happened to be by far one of the worst I've watched. One of the worst. You can't convince me any otherwise. He's one of the worst I've ever seen on this team. Arthur Smith's offense continuously, they hit their mark today. They scored 17 again. You know how the Falcons do it. They score 17 points a week. 17 points a week. They can't go past 17 points. So, but this is the guy that you thought was an offensive guru, one of the hottest job guys on the market. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. By the way, man, don't even put him on a plane back to the Delta, man. Don't put him on the plane back to Hartsfield. Let that man walk to the airport. Get him up out of here. There's no way he survives this season. You cannot bring this man back. You would be a fool to bring back Arthur Smith as the Falcons head coach in 2024. What are we waiting on here? Get him up out of here. What's the reason? This is a pretty good roster that was a total waste because of a horrible head coach and one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever watched play football in my life. This is deeper than just, he might be the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League. I'm not even just going for the Falcons. This guy's been horrible all year. I don't care what his stat line is going to say when you look at the stat line. Those stats were made in the first half. There were 2 big plays out of that as well. The second half, he got back to being Desmond Ridder. And at the end of the day, these guys were definitely coming into this game and looking like, okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can find a way to win against the Saints. Every time, I said it last week, every time the media comes out with a report that the coach, depending on barring a collapse, barring this, barring that, that he's that he may be safe. He's gone. He is gone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This man is gone. He's gone. Let me hear some of these comments before I continue. Gary, man, whatever. Good game, whatever. Thank you for that. Y'all take Dennis Allen and you keep him, and we'll deal with y'all next year, which y'all don't have no money on that team, by the way. Man, we not gonna have to go through that season like we did with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith's gonna be gone, so we'll see. He said overteam from work goal. I had set by 1. Yeah, I said that the Falcons what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying the bottom. I said their worst had to be 9-8. If they went 9-8, that was a reasonable season for the Falcons. But when you go 7-10 again, there's no saving your job. There's no saving your job. You said y'all rather go hire Mike Smith. I'm here to say FTT. Who drafted Ridder? That was this organization. That was Terry Fontenot and company. Roman Solo said, "What's up, bro?" He said, "Relieve him of Ridder in London." We should have left him in London. Seriously, we should have. Anthony says, "Sin, just know you're not getting Jesse Bates back. Jesse Bates is part of the future. He was one of the highlights of a very pitiful season that we had. So he ain't going nowhere. Don't worry about that." Frank Grease said, "Arthur Smith should have." He ran out there. I wish he would have had that same energy that he had in that moment all season long. I mean, you had enough to go out there and cuss the man out. You should have been cussing your team out or yourself out. It's all good. He won't be the head coach after today. It's all good. Leave him in the bite. KD Baylor was going on board, said Michael Penis side. Absolutely. We are definitely going to get a quarterback in some capacity with this new group. Roman Solo said Falcons, if Blake keeps Smith and Ridder next season, the Falcons are financially in trouble. The Falcons are financially in trouble now. It's just not being put out there for us to know. But the Falcons are already going through these issues right now. A lot of folks are not coming to these games. There was a ton of empty seats throughout the season. It was really bad, the Colts game. And I'm a season ticket holder, so, the crowds vary on how the Falcons are doing at the time. The crowds that were there earlier in the season wavered off after that New Orleans game. So, I mean, it was at a point now where your fans you have diehard fans, but they're sick of this up and down foolishness you go through every year. So at this point, it's no defending it. He's gone. He's gone. There's no way he survived this. No way. Amy said, could have got Mike? Listen. The heartbreaking part about it is, I don't know if a lot of folks that are not Falcon fans know, we had Mike McDaniels was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Shanahan, Matt LaFleur. We had several head coaches that are in the league right now, all of that 2016 staff, and it's frustrating to watch these guys go out there, put winning ball clubs out here, and they were all on one coaching staff at one point in time. Curry said Bill Belichick to elect. I don't know. I don't know if they would make the move. I don't really know. Oh, and Tobias Kelly's going on, bro. He said, I'm waiting to see the draft order at this point. I think we should be somewhere. We're picking. Okay, so it's official. We're picking number 8 again. So that is a guaranteed spot for the Falcons. They're picking number 8 in the draft for the 3rd consecutive year because they finished 7-10. The Jets are ahead of them. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys what the draft order is looking like right now. I actually pulled it up before I came on here. So I'll show you guys real quick so we can kind of see where we are with this situation right now. But as you see, the Falcons are – let me take your comment off the board. The Falcons are picking number 7 as we see right here, they're going to be picking ahead of Tennessee. So depending on this positioning in the draft, the Falcons could be in position to get one of the better quarterbacks because New England and Washington will both be probably both of them will be going at the quarterback. And then after that, you'll probably be seeing the Falcons pursue maybe a Michael Penix or a Jaden Daniels or somebody like that, or Drake May even. But I don't think Drake May make it out the top 5. So it could be a Michael Penix or a Jaden Daniels. And Curry said, that sounds like a Drake May. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I think Michael Penix and what's his name? Michael Penix and Jaden may more so be the guys that you look for right there at number 8, because I think that Drake May is going to go in the top 5 as well as Caleb Williams. And then you go to the third best quarterback from there. But honestly speaking, the Falcons are picking 8. I don't see it being anything but a quarterback unless they find a way to work something out and bring Justin Fields to Atlanta, which I don't think is going to happen. Oh, my boy Dejan, what's going on, bro? He said JF wants to stay in Chicago. I think so, too. I don't think he's leaving Chicago. They'd be crazy. If anything, I would trade that pick down just like they did last season and really put you a roster together. They're trending up. They're going to probably finish with at least 7 wins, so way better than last year. But again, the Falcons totally underachieved this season. This season, I thought was going to be the one where the Falcons took a leap to getting to the postseason. I wasn't even screaming going deep in the playoffs. To me, as a head coach, Arthur Smith had to show my team took this leap of faith and got to at least a winning record. You didn't even win no more than the games you won. You went 7-10 for the 3rd straight year. There's no defending what's taking place right now. And I think at this point, honestly speaking, I'm going to be a brutally honest fan. I think Arthur Blank wanted to bring him back. But at the same time, when you look at your fan base is sick of this. They're trying to get rid of him. It's time to move on from that situation. Oh, Amy hit a great question. What are your feelings on Blank selling team? It's time. It's time. And I've been screaming this for about 7 years because to me, Arthur Blank has not been locked in as a owner or made the best football decisions Falcon base wise since the Atlanta United came to this city in 2017. Ever since then, we've been trending down. I don't think they've put a lot of effort into what got him in the position that he's in. Now, I'm not saying that the man wasn't rich before he got here, but the Atlanta Falcons, lucrative, they went up, basically. Their stock went up with him taking the team over. It's time for a fresh face. It's time for a guy that can come in here, bring some new life, a new culture into this city. Because the sad part about it is, it's not even about the fan base at this point. That leadership at the top got to do something. But in my opinion, he's 81 years old. It's time to go ahead and enjoy the rest of your life. I appreciate what he has done for this organization. I think the Falcons are a better organization now than they were 22 years ago when he took the franchise over. But I think you got to get somebody else to come in here and carry this thing over the top. I like Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank is really a good guy. So I think at this point, it'll be beneficial for the Falcons to go ahead and find a new owner at some point. I still think that behind the scenes, that could be a lot closer than later. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what I think is going to happen there. Aaron asked me, this is a good question. Which loss hurt more, the Cardinals or the Panthers? Honestly speaking, the Cardinals loss hurt at the time, but they made up for it by getting back to 500. That Panther loss did them all the way in. Because when you look at that Panther loss, the Falcons were going into a situation where literally you won that game, you would have been setting yourself up to be in a position to at least make the playoffs. You could have possibly went 9-8 and snuck that last seed in the wild card round. But losing that Panther game basically put you on ice. And after the Colts game, which was their best game of the year, they just threw the towel. It looked like they all just threw the towel in Chicago. And today, you just felt the whole way that it was going to be a loss. Even with them getting out to that hot start, I just felt like it was going to be a loss. Because at this point, You don't have lot to sit this to kind of stand on at this point. And also, when I look at the situation with the Falcons, I'm looking at the point of this was one of your easier schedules. So I don't know if a lot of you keep up with the scheduling, and I know they're going to probably drop it when the games are over today. But what I do want you all to know, the Falcons are going to have a third place schedule for another season. We will be playing, I know our home games for certain will be, so we got the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Giants, the Steelers, Seattle, of course, our 3 teams in the division, and it was one other team. I'm trying to think of them to my tongue. Give me a second. It's gonna come to me in a minute. But we have a really stacked home schedule next year. So the Falcons got to fit some of these things this offseason, and you got to see what's going to happen because the Falcons this is not a rebuild roster. This roster is a couple of key adjustments away from really being a wild card roster next year. But the issues that you're running into, you got to address them this offseason. You may have to move on from not only Arthur Smith, but Desmond Ridder. You may have to also move on from a couple other guys in the organization just to usher in this youth movement in full, because you have set pieces that you can get a good head coach in here and he can build around. But Arthur Smith is not the guy to carry you further through this thing. It's not. James said 100%. He's a good man, but he doesn't seem to care. That's how I feel. I feel that he's not as invested, or he puts his heart gets too invested with a lot of these coaches that he really don't want to make that move, and he should. So you don't need a guy like that that's skeptical about keeping the guy in the organization that don't win them ball games beneficial. Because again, as I said, the Falcons have just had their 7 consecutive losing season. That's a bad thing to say. And for you people that are watching that are not from the city, that don't see a lot of Falcons or Atlanta sports that goes on, let me name off to you what all has happened in this city post that Super Bowl loss back in 2016. The Braves have won a World Series. The United have won a championship. The Hawks have made it close to the NBA Finals. You have one of the best college teams in the nation that's won back-to-back national titles. You've had a lot of success in the city of Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, except for one team, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. And it's not that the Atlanta Falcons do not have a fan base, but when you don't have everything at the top in order, this is what happens. So now the Falcons are in a situation where you went 7-10 3 years in a row. You got pieces. Now at this point, you got to go find another head coach, learn a whole new system. But again, it's not a completely bad situation. Look at the Houston Texans. The Texans are going to win that division. So with them winning the division, coming off of having the worst record in the league last year, they made the postseason and got a division title. It can be done with the right coach in place. So that's not even the issue here. So the Falcons aren't that far. They're not in the Houston situation last year. They're a lot closer to being a good ball club than a team picking in the top 10 of the draft. So again, you got to take advantage of having a top 10 pick for the 3rd consecutive year. And I'm going to be intrigued to see the direction of where the head coach goes. So let me catch these comments up real quick. Feelings say, Roz, don't give up hope. They're not gonna keep them. Do not sit here and tell me that bold-faced lie. No player-friendly coaches like, yeah, it's not, and he don't really know what he's doing. They got to get someone in here that has an idea. That's the problem. Oh, Amy was answering that question. Outside of Riddle, what other players would you be interested in seeing released? That's a great question. Number one, I think you got to start looking at Jake Matthews' replacement. Jake Matthews is going to be making close to $24 million next year. He's on the back end of his career. It's time to go ahead and get your left tackle in here. I would go ahead and say I would move on from Richie Grant. I would completely blow this receiving core up, not named Drake London. You got to get some talent in here. I think we've seen the end of Cordero Patterson. I think he's gone for sure. Let me think, who else? Those are the guys that I would say for sure right now would be my go-to. I'm getting them out of here. I'm not dealing with them after this season. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a lot more movement this offseason because the Falcons are currently sitting at around $40 million of free cap. I might be a little bit off on that number, but I think that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's going to be something to watch out for too. And Amy said we have so much talent. These losses are yes, they are. We had the second easiest schedule in the NFL, and we finished 7-10. You cannot defend that when you look at the over evaluation of the situation. To me, honestly, if you ask me, I think Arthur Smith's fate was sealed in Carolina. I think they were trying to give him his warning. All right, still in the race. Beat the Bears, you're in. Got blown out. Beat the Saints, you're in. Get blown out. You lost on the road by a combined 53 points in the last two road games. Get him up out of here. I don't want to see that man step on the field. I don't want to see him on the sideline. I don't want to see him in the 100, 200, 300, the Home Depot backyard, not even tailgating. Get him up out of here. He has nothing for this organization. He is the worst head coach since Bobby Petrino. Get him out of here. We ain't dealing with this no more. And if he is back next season, get ready to watch some of these games where you see a whole bunch of red seats in the stadium. Arthur Blank don't want to get that, don't want to go through that. So watch what I tell you. By tomorrow night, we will not have Arthur Smith as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons or by the end of this week. Either way, that man is gone. Let me hit some of these comments. Aaron said, the Vikings loss was another one. That's another game that you look back at and like, hey, you could have won this ball game and your season goes different, but this is what we are. Amy says, oh, yikes. He used to come all the time. That says a lot. He used to come all the time. Tevin, what's going on, bro? He said, wasted Bates all-pro season, wasted Pitts, Bijan, Algier, London growth, and Calais last season. I'm sick of it. Yeah, you got to get rid of Arthur Smith because of all these reasons right here. The beautiful thing is you still got all those pieces in place. So a better head coach, a better scheme can get these guys in the right situation at this point. That's really what it is for the Falcons. Jarvis going on, bro. It says 7-10, 3 years. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. A weekend in ATL with tickets literally cost me $1,000. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, especially for a team that you don't know what they're gonna do week in and week out. Ryan, what's going on? It said Arthur got to go absolutely 100%. And Tobias said QB should be our number one priority this year, obviously. What other pieces are you interested in the later rounds? To me, the Falcons got a couple of key needs. QB is my number one need. The second one is, I would say, the second one is a wide receiver. The Falcons need a dual threat wide receiver to take you off of the top. A guy like an Xavier Worthy out of Texas, Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. You need you a guy that can stretch the field, not named Pitts and Drake London. That's another problem that the Falcons have kind of ran into is nobody gets open in this offense. That's the issue. Also, I would go pass rusher is another thing. To me, the Falcons need a legitimate young pass rusher. I'm going to miss Calais Campbell. I'm sure he may be hanging it up after this season. It sucks because I wish we could have got him a couple years earlier. But you need a pass rusher because the defensive scheme is actually pretty good. They've had a bad last 2 weeks, but I absolutely think that the Falcons should. That's another position to look at. Obviously, safety is another one I will look into. Maybe getting a couple of pieces on the offensive line. Van Pran from Georgia is a guy I will look into in the mid to later round to pick up at center because Drew Dalman is not it. But I feel that the Falcons also need to look into probably it's a couple of pieces. Left tackle and center are the two I would absolutely replace out the gate on the offensive line. Pass rushers on the defense. Add me possibly another linebacker, maybe another corner. Couple of minor needs. because what we're hoping for is that the Jaguars re-sign Calvin Ridley. That'll be 2 second-round picks for the Falcons. So that's going to be something to watch out for as well. So we'll be paying attention to that come later on this offseason. Tevin Ratcliffe said, get me Kellen Moore here. That'll be a good fit. Amy's talking about the trips. Yeah, she did. She definitely, I see her all the time. What if Arthur is the OC and you bring the head coach? It's not going to work. You got to get him out of here. You can't even, I don't think it's going to work because what he's going to want to do and what the new coach is going to want to do is two different things. You got to get him out of here. And Tate, what's going on, bro? It said edge rusher. Yes, edge rusher is absolutely a need on this team. And depending on what the Falcons organization do this offseason, whatever what the new head coach direction is, if somehow we have a quarterback in the building before the draft, edge rusher might end up being number one. You might look into a Jared Verse or Chop Robinson, somebody like that, to put on your pass rusher. Dallas Turner from Alabama is another guy you could possibly see going at that position. So that's going to be a key thing to watch. And Amy said, nah, he's need to pack up and move to his dad's team. and Tavi said, Latu, yeah, Latu's another good guy that I would really love to be in this organization too. But let me go to a couple of comments real quick. My bad. Let me hit this statistics. Let me show you these fake statistics so it can irritate you. One second. Let me pull this up. But I just want to show the stat line from today's game, and then we'll go from there. As you see, the Falcons ended with, it was 48-17, a disastrous end to the game. Ritter numbers look okay. He had 231 in the first half. So 60 of those yards were in the second half. He had an interception. Derek Carr had a crazy day on the opposite side. The defense had one of their worst days of the season. Kendrick Miller cut up. Oh, by the way, from a non-Falcons perspective, the Saints didn't miss a beat without Alvin Kamara. That could be something to watch for this offseason. He could be on the block. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. So do not be surprised if he's on the block this offseason. I'm gonna go ahead and be the first one to say it here. You heard it here first. Bijan Robinson to have a good day, 11 for 28. Algier was 6 of 24. As you see, not a lot of production on the ground. The Saints had better numbers on the ground than we did, and that's crazy to think about when you think about this game. Bijan had 7 for $103 and a touchdown. Scotty Miller was number 2. Drake 4 for 41. Jonnu Smith 3 for 29. Kyle Pitts only had 2 receptions. As you see the numbers on the ground. Rashid Shaheed and Olave both had a touchdown and 3 catches on the day. A.T. Perry is, by the way, coming on for the Saints. And that's another thing. You don't really have to go and get another you had to get no top tier guy in the first round if he fits your scheme. A.T. Perry wasn't even drafted by the Saints. They just got a steal as an undrafted free agent. He's going to end up being their next Michael Thomas / Marcus Costa type receiver. Be on the lookout for him with Olave. Juwan Johnson had 3 for 40. As you see, it was both on the day. Ritter had a fumble. The Saints had 2 fumbles and recovered 3 of them. Nate Landman, who, by the way, he better be resigned for the Falcons, 10 tackles on the day. Calais Campbell got a sack. Richie Grant got a sack. As you see on the opposite side, Mario Davis led for the Saints. Just kind of an average day. One lot of activity there. As you see, Tyrann Mathieu had a 74-yard interception. Alontae Taylor had a pick. Nobody had a kick return. The Saints and the Falcons both had two punt returns. Pinion kicked it 5 times. The Saints punter kicked it 4 times, 2 for 2. As you see, just kind of an even day in the offer. So not a lot to really say statistically. Let me get back up with these comments. Cody, what's up, bro? He said, go get Russell Wilson in free agency, then draft your edge rusher first round. That could be a potential option for the Falcons. I could see that being a potential option. I definitely can see that. Armand, what's going on, my bro? Y'all will definitely see him at on our draft shows. You know, I'll be really doing some draft shows this offseason. So be ready to see him a lot this offseason with me. Kamara's, yeah, I agree. Kamara's gone. Falcons cannot afford Kamara. Yeah, we don't need a running back. I agree. Gotta go on a trade. I actually want to see us work with him in another scheme with another guy. I just want to see. He still got him on his rookie deal. Don't move him just yet. Let's see what the new coaching staff will bring in to this fold. Sadly, Wes, you were killing his career. What about Cool? I think Cool is safe for now, but if he come out with all these missed field goals next season, then they're going to get rid of him. But I think he's safe because he's a good kicker. Kyrie was going on, bro. He said Arthur got mad, Dylan's out. That was weird, per se. I know the commentary was like he didn't have to run the score up. I really don't care. If you run the score up at this point. You don't let a team get in position to beat you by 31. That was the Saints' highest score of the year. You allow that to happen. So this is what it is. You didn't even I would rather you not shake your hands, go out there and cuss a man out. But the mind does stupid things when your job is gonna be gone. Bye, Arthur. But Amy said I feel like Cool is over. Yeah, he's over it for sure. Kyrie said, get it through your head. Roses.com in the future. Chill out, man. Chill out. Chill out. Cody said we are drafting too late to get a premium QB in the draft. I don't think so. The Falcons are picking 8. So after Drake May and Caleb's off the board, you still got what's his name? You still got Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix are at this position. So the Falcons are in the prime position to get a quarterback. It's going to be those 4. If they was to say, and I don't want him, by the way, I'm just throwing him out here. JJ McCarthy and the Bo Nix are 2 guys on their back end. So the Falcons have an option of at least 6 quarterbacks. So that's what it come down to. They got his blocking for Janu. Listen, worst offense ever. KD Bailey said Arthur Smith is a never mind. This is a family show. Hey, believe me, we're gonna say it off air. We're gonna say it off air. No comment. Amy started laughing. Love you too, Amy. What other teams in the top 10 need a QB? So, based on the top 10, it depends on what Chicago does in the Justin Fields situation. They really don't need one. New England's going to be going after one. Washington's going to be going after one. I think ahead of us, Arizona's going to still got Kyler Murray. The Chargers still got Herb. The Titans are working with Will Levis. The Jets still got A-Rod. So the Falcons should be in position to probably get the 3rd best prospect on the board. So, Lee, what's up, my bro? Oh, my God. Good game. Oh, it kills me to say that. Good game, man. Get off my folks. But yeah, that was a ugly ending for the season for the Falcons. But this is gonna be the wrap-up of my show for today. I'm definitely coming back on here if we find out the news this evening or tomorrow about the Arthur Smith fire, and you would definitely hear from me. So be on the lookout for that. Oh my God. Hold on, let me see what he said. What's up, bro? Doing good, sir. Doing good. With the exception of the loss, doing great. So, hey man, chill out, man. But you look at him, he came on here to troll me. See what happens when you get out here and you get smacked? This is what happens. Us Falcon fans have to deal with this until that season. Thank you, Arthur. That's why you're gone. But to wrap up what I'm saying, all in all, I think Arthur Smith will be fired by the end of tomorrow. I think he could be gone today. Either way, I think it's going to be a history for the Falcons. I'm not really sure who I kind of want to go after at this moment. I just want a better situation because really I ain't even looked into the coaching tree just yet. I just want to see what I want the Falcons to rush it. I think they should wait towards later in the season. I think it should be a little later in the season before they decide to make the head coaching switch. I think they need to be a little careful with this. So, again, I do think Arthur is gone. I think they're just waiting on the right time to do it. It could be, like I said, it could be tonight. It could be sometime tomorrow, but I do think we will be getting a notification to all of our phones that Arthur Smith has been fired as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So I agree. Yes, sir, my bro. You know it's all love. It is all love, man. And okay, I gotta hate this question. Do you think the Falcons rushed to get Arthur Smith, or was he the best? The Falcons went by it wrong. The Falcons went by it wrong. So, for one, I think that the Falcons should have hired the GM and the head coach at the same time. That was a disaster waiting to happen because you hired Terry Fontenot out of the New Orleans organization, and then you went and got Arthur Smith. Those two never was going to work because they didn't come in together. The reason why the situation worked all those years with Thomas Dimitroff is because him and Mike Smith came in together. When you don't come in together with your head coach, you typically fail. Rich McKay came in with Jim Mora. So you always would want to aim to bring the coach and the GM kind of together. So that's the issue that the Falcons run into. When you do this separate, you run into these issues. So anybody that's out here saying the GM should be on the line, no, he shouldn't. This is not even his guy. So absolutely not. He should not be in consideration to be fired by any means necessary. Now, I will say this. I think if the team struggles under the new head coach, he may be gone in that situation. But I think he survives, and I think that Arthur Smith is gone. And Cody, that is true. He was hired because Smith Daddy. Yeah, now this. I'm glad you mentioned this because if the Falcons shock the entire fan base and decide to keep Arthur Smith, it's going to be on account of this right here, and it's going to really irritate a lot of fans in this city. Trust when I tell you, you're going to lose a lot of fans behind stuff like this. And I don't care about him being friends with his dad or whatever. That man is rich. His dad owns FedEx. He is going to be perfectly fine. So it's going to be one to watch for. And Smith on fire with Allen. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree 100%. He absolutely got bad. It was so funny. But, I mean, he put it on himself. So I don't really feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. And, yeah. But again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I definitely appreciate all of y'all that made this show possible. The comments were great. We're going to get deeper into this situation. I cannot wait to find out more to come down the road. So he said, no more questions about the Falcons, but I would love for you to continue. I absolutely have been considering it. I've been considering coming back and doing a NFL show. I was actually looking into wanting to do it throughout the season. I got a little busy during the week. So I'm definitely going to look into doing that. I definitely will get on here and talk more non-Falcons football. And if you are interested in me doing it, let me know because I would gladly do that. So definitely keep me up to date on that. I would, if you're interested in me doing that, I would love to do that because I do watch the entire league. I don't just watch Falcon football. If I just watch the Falcons, I would be a very depressed person because the Falcons are up and down. So thank God the Falcon season is over. Thank God they cannot hit our phone up about these playoff tickets. They don't have to email me no more saying that the Falcons have a possible chance of going into the playoffs. You don't have to worry about that. I can pay for my season tickets in peace. Thank God. So I will definitely do that, and I appreciate that statement right there too. So with that being said, let's check out these 4 o'clock games. I will definitely be back. And until then, this is Nate signing out. Rise up, fire Arthur Smith, and let's get ready for the playoffs. I will definitely be putting a show together for the playoffs. So be on the lookout. See y'all.